Namaste, everybody. Welcome back to our session where we will go through the 5th sloka today. But before, let's do a short meditation. Let's all sit tall, head, neck, trunk in a straight line, bringing your awareness to this present moment. Be aware of your body. Be aware of your breathing. Start with deep inhalation and a complete exhalation. Be aware of the second cycle. Inhale deep and exhale. One more time. Inhale deep. Exhale completely. Bring your focus to the middle of your heart and feel an attitude of gratitude. And with that, we will do Dhyanam, Rupa Dhyanam, closing your eyes. I'll go by the lines and you can bring the Rupam of Devi in your canvas of mind. Sindhuraruna Vigraham, Trinayanam, Manikya Maulispurat. We are meditating on the Divine Mother whose body is red in color, who has Manikyam in her head. Taranayaka Shekharam, she also has Taranayakan or moon in her head. Smita Mukhim, she has a beautiful smile on her face. Apina Vakshoruham, she has a full bosom, Kshirasagaram that is ready to nurture the entire universe, us all children. Panibhyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam. On her one hand, there is a Ratna pot, a jewel-studded pot that has Amritam in it. And there is Ali around it. There is bees buzzing around. Rektotpalam Pipratim. On our other hand, there is a beautiful red lotus flower. Saumyam Ratna Khadastha Rekta Charanam Dhyaye Param Ambikam. I'm doing the meditation on that Devi who is seated on that platform that's also studded with jewels. So keep that Devi Rupa in your mind for a few moments. A beautiful smiling Devi holding a pot in one hand with nectar, with amritam, and a lotus flower in the other hand. Sada Shiva Samarambham Śaṅkarācārya Madhyamam Asmadācārya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Vakratundha Mahakaya Suryakotis Samaprabha Nirvikhnam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Shri Matre Namah. Welcome back to everybody. We are going through verse 5 today. Before that, we will do a quick recap of verse 4. And then we'll go on to explaining verse 5. This is an interesting verse with so many stories and also deeper meaning as well. So let's go through the recap of verse 4. Todanya panibhyam abhayavarado devadagana tvameka naivasi prakatita varabhityabhinaya bhayatradum dhatum phalamapija vancha samatikam Saranye Lokanam tavahi charanaveva nipunam. So it's talking about the mudras. So other devatas, other than you, other than Shakti, all other devatas are showing the Abhaya Mudra and Vara Mudra, which is showing the fingers pointed downward, Vara Mudra to bestow blessings to the devotees. So Abhaya Mudra provides protection from fear, and Vara Mudra provides all the boons, all the blessings, whatever the Pranatajana are asking, the devotees are asking. So that is what the devatas are providing. So they are showing that they are physically displaying that Varamudra and Abhaya Mudra, all other devatas. But you, Devi, you do not have to show these gestures. You don't have to do the Prakatita Varapityavinaya. You don't have to show this because your inherent nature is prosperity giving, or what all she provides bhoga and yoga. So the tantra has a verse called yogo bhogo radam tantra. So it's both bhoga as well as yoga. Yoga here as in moksha. So both the material benefits as well as the spiritual progress, both are provided by Devi. So that is Devi's inherent nature. So you do not have to show or go to these mudras, Abhaya Mudra or Vara Mudra, to show that. So we know that you, by nature itself, you are that. And it used a word, Vancha Samatikam. So Vancha Samatikam is more than what people have asked. Vancha means whatever is desired, and Samatikam is more than that. So Devi provides more than what the devotees are asking for. So that what could be that Vancha Samatikam? So we usually ask for, usually the prayers go by, I need house, I need a good education for my kids, I need a good family for my kids, I need the best iPhone, I need the best car, and all that thing is our prayer. So we actually, the reason why we are praying, we wanted thing is that we feel that we are apurnam. So we feel we are apurnam, and then we want it to become purnam. So we think that all these things can make us purnam. But she only knows that only thing that make us purnam is moksham. So that is what the vancha samatikam. So we are not asking that because we don't know that is what we want, right? Like right now we think that all the things, material things that we want is what we know. So she knows that what we want is actually because we get happiness from all these things. It's not that we don't, we do, but they all are alpamatram. They go away after some time. But when we get moksham, when we get jivan mukti moksham, that anandam is never reducing. That anandam is forever. So that is what she can provide. So she can provide not only the bhoga, she can also provide moksham. So, and to provide that, your charanam itself is good enough. So, tavahi charanaveva nipuna. Your both feet itself are good to get that both bhogam and moksham to all of us. So that was the fourth verse. And we also saw in detail what is the difference between Devata and Ishvara, right? Ishvara or Shiva Shakti. When that word, when the Parabrahman or Shuddha Chaitanyam is used as a male, it's called Parameshwaran, and in female, Parabrahma Mahishi. Then the non-gender version, the name is what is Brahman or Shuddha Chaitanyam, pure consciousness. Those are non-gender verse, but they are all the same. It's that infinite consciousness is what is referred here as Ishvara. So that the difference between that Ishvara, that which has no rupam or no gunam or no name, no namam rupam, that one is the Ishvara. And then Devatas are the ones with individual gunams. So we used the example of electricity and equipments. to talk about how Ishvara and these devatas are different. And then ultimately the devatas are Purnam and Ishvara is Purnam, because devatas get their power from Ishvara, from Shakti here. So it is also Purnam. So you could do the upasana of any devata and then reach or understand the ultimate Ishvara as well. Just like simply by looking at the bulb, we can understand electricity, or simply by looking at a fan only, we can understand electricity. Similarly, just one devata is good enough to attain moksha. So you can still continue to use that Ishta Devata that you have. There is a lot of doubts people have, that what is the difference between Shuddha Chaitanyam and Saraswati, and what is the connection. So this is where we established that connection. So that was verse number 4. Now we are going through verse number 5. Here, the verse number 5 talks about Shakti's blessings to two devas. One is Viṣṇu Deva and the other Lord Viṣṇu, and the second one Lord Kāma or Kamadeva. So let's read it and then we go through the meaning. We have to go through the literal meaning, we have to go through the stories, and then we have to go through the essence and deeper meaning of these verses. Haristvam aradhya pranata jana saubhagya janani pura nari bhutva puraripu api shobha manayat smaropi tvam natva radinayana lehyena vapusa muninamapyanda prabhavadihi mohaya mahadam. One more time. Haristvam aradhya pranatajana saubhagya janani puranari bhutva puraripumabit shobhamanayat smaropitvam natva ratinayana lehyena vapusa muninamapyanda prabhavadihi mohaya mahatam. Some of the words are together, so let's break it out. Haristvam aradhya. Hari tvam aradhya combined, it becomes Haristvam aradhya pranata jana saubhagya janani. That is individual. Pura nari bhutva puraripum api. That becomes puraripum api. Shobham anayat becomes shobham anayat. Smaropi tvam smara api becomes smaropi tvam natva rati nayana lehyena vapusa muninam api plus anta muninam apyanda prabhavati hi mohaya mahata. Let's start from the beginning. Haristvam aradhya pranata jana saubhagya janani. So let's look into the word of pranata jana saubhagya janani first. Pranata jana are the jana who is doing the pranamam to you. So the jana are the people who does the pranamam to you. And that jana could be either Manushya or Deva or Asura, anyone who is doing the pranamam to you. And for that people, for those who does the pranamam to you, you provide saubhagya janani. You provide prosperity, happiness, everything. This is addressing Devi, the one who provides the saubhagyam, the prosperity to the people, to all those who is doing the pranamam to you. And that Devi, Haristvam aradhya. Hari does the tvam aradhya. Hari does the worship to you. And then what becomes Pura Nari Bhutva. Pura means long ago. Nari is women, lady. Bhutva, to be becoming. Puraripu Mapi. Puraripu is Shiva. So that's a story where he becomes Tripurantakan, is a different name, where Shiva burns the 3 cities and hence get the name of Puraripu or Tripurantakan. So Puraripu Api, even to Shiva, Chopam Anayata. Chopam is generating passion in his mind, Manayata. So Hari, Hari is Viṣṇu, Lord Viṣṇu. The first part is talking about Lord Viṣṇu and the second part is talking about Kāmadeva. So in the first part where Hari is being referenced, so Hari does the aradhana or worship to Devi and becomes, long back, becomes a Nari. You all know the story of the Nari, right? It's referring to Mohinī, the enchanting Mohinī story. So becomes Mohinī. After becoming Mohinī, she creates passion even in the mind of Puraripu, which is Shiva. Hari gets the power to create the passion in the mind of Shiva, who is the extreme ascetic. Shiva is always doing that deep meditation. So even in the mind of Shiva, Hari was able to generate passion because of the power from Devi, because Hari does the worship of Devi. Next one. Smaro pitvam natva radinayana lehena vapusha. Smara is Kamadeva. So Kamadeva api means even also, because Hari is talked about. Now we are talking about Kamadeva. Kamadeva also. Tvam natva, tvam you, and natva doing the namanam. Rati nayana lehena vapusa. Rati is Kamadeva's wife. Rati Nayanam is eye. Kamadeva is visible to only Rati's eyes. So that is what it is talking about. Rati is one of the beautiful female in Purana. Her eyes are actually falling at the beauty of Kamadeva. And only Rati, we will talk about the story, but only Rati Devi can see the body of Kamadeva. Kamadeva is called Ananga. Anga is body. Ananga is the one who doesn't have Anga. But Rati Devi can see, and it is the story coming up. So Rati Devi's body, Rati Devi's eyes are the only one that can see Ananga. So that Smara or Kamadeva, what did Kamadeva do? Kamadeva also does the worship of Devi, and he is also generating passion in Muninam. All the sages, wisest sages, and in their mind, and they are considered to be Jidendriya. They have won over the Indriya. So they means not easily distracted by anything outside, right? Even in the minds of Muni, Prabhavadihi Mohaya Mahata. Moham is generating passion. Mahatam is Mahatam Muninam. Mahatam means the great sages. So even in the minds of the great sages, Smara, Kamadeva creates passion by doing what? By getting the blessings from Devi. So here, two sets of verses talking about Shakti or Devi's blessings to Lord Viṣṇu and Lord Kāma, and from them where they are getting their power. Here it is talking about, this particular sloka is talking about Sammohana Shakti, the power of attraction. We know that the whole world stays because of the power of attraction, right? The love creates between two people is responsible for reproduction and creating this whole universe of beings, not just the human, but all beings, right? So it is that power is what is talking about here. So the first one says that Hari does the Aradhya, Hari does the worship of you and became Mohinī, and he creates the passion in the mind of Shiva. Similarly, the next one says that Kamadeva has the power. Kamadeva, he himself doesn't have the power, but Devi gave him the power to create the passion in Muninam. So then we don't have to talk about us, right? So we are easily distracted by Kamadeva. So even to Muni's mind, we know the stories of Vishwamitra and Menaka and so many stories of the Munis getting distracted. So it is not showing. These stories have to be seen in a lens of what is the essence that story is giving us. This is not meant to demean any of those sages. So that is what we have to take. So we will see in a minute, what is that essence? What is that ultimate thing that we have to get from these verses? Remember when I talked about the example, Archimedes' principle, and then crow putting all the stone in the pot, the water racing. So that is a story. So when we go into the literal meaning of the story, it may not make sense. But then when we talk about when we learn the Archimedes principle, this story was good to remember that principle. So the stories is valued only to take the essence, not the literal meaning. Oh, the Muni is that bad, or not to judge the Muni is not what we need to take it from. So but the story, the essence is that these powers are strong enough to create the passion in those Muni's minds. So that is what we have to take it from these stories. So now let's take it a little bit deeper into the meanings. The first one talk about Viṣṇu. So Viṣṇu is a Devi Upasaka. So there are in Sri Vidya Sampradayam, they talk about 14 major Upasakas. First and foremost is Viṣṇu. And we talked about Viṣṇu creating Shakti Pitas, the story of Sati, and using his Sudarshan Chakra, he creates Shakti's bodies into 51 parts, and in Bharatavarsha, 51 places these Shakti Pitas are there. And many of you might have gone to these temples of Shakti Pita, and each body part is where each of these 51 represent. And the 51 also is the number of letters, the alphabets in Sanskrit. So there is a connection there, which we will establish as we go to the verses later. So Viṣṇu, what we are coming down to is that Viṣṇu is a huge Devi Upasaka. So Viṣṇu established all these Shaktipita and to do the Upasana. And of course, it is available to all of us to do the Upasana as well. Now the two stories of that is backing these two verses, the two sections. So the first one is the story of Mohinī. Many of you, I think all of you may know the story of Mohinī. There are multiple stories, but maybe we'll talk through one. So the first story is that sage Durvasa actually cursed because of a disrespect, again, backstory after backstory. So just provide the concise story. So there is an incident where Durvasa was not given the proper treatment. So he curses the devas, and devas started getting Jaranara. So they started getting weakened. And devas are the ones who are always have all the saubhagyam, all the prosperities, all the dhana, all the aishwaryams, right? So now with this particular curse, they cannot. They started getting jara and nara. They are not immortal anymore, right? So now. The asuras becomes powerful. So we need to kind of balance the power between devas and asuras. So Lord Brahma said, okay, there is a solution. We can do the Samudra Mathanam to get the Amritam, and that Amritam can revive the devas from this curse. So they know that it is such a big task of churning the Samudram. So they had to take alliance with the Asuras. So Devas on one side and Asuras on the other side start the Manthanam, the churning of this ocean. And finally, the Amritam comes. Amritam comes. As soon as the Amritam comes, the Devas, the Asuras take us and start running, right? You know, that's a deadly combination. The Asura, the negative power, and the immortality is always a deadly combination. You don't want that to happen, right? So then Viṣṇu comes in the form of an enchanting Mohinī and distracts the Devas and takes the Amrita. And Shiva heard about this Mohinī, that even the Asuras left the Amritam for this enchanting Mohinī. So now Shiva wanted to see Mohinī. So Viṣṇu again appears as Mohinī in front of Shiva. Great passion was created in the mind of Shiva, who is considered as the biggest ascetic, right? So that is that first story where even Shiva's mind was Shobhamanayata. Even Shiva was captivated by that beautiful and enchanting Mohinī, which is Viṣṇu, that took the form. So that is the first story. And the second one is Kāmadeva. Kāmadeva, there is an asura called Tarakasura, and his brothers caused havoc. They got a boon from Brahma that only Shiva and Parvati's son, Skanda or Subramanya, can kill him. Like he thought it is not possible because Shiva is in that deep meditation. He's not going to marry Parvati because he's still lamenting over Sati. So he's not going to marry. So they every single time when these asuras get the boon, you can always see that the Brahma or Viṣṇu, whoever is giving the boon, they put a clause, and that is the trump card that they will get them later. So here the boon was that only their Shiva and Parvati's son can kill him. He was so sure, the Asuras were so sure that Shiva will not wake up from his deep meditation and will marry Parvati. So that was the deal. So now this Deva is like, okay, now this Tarakasura, after getting the boon, he's creating along with his brothers as creating havoc. Now what do we do? Shiva over here is in deep meditation. He has no signs of marrying Parvati, and Parvati is doing a meditation to marry Shiva as well, but nothing is happening with Shiva. So now the Devas approach Kamadeva and says that you are our only solace. You have to somehow distract Shiva from his meditation and from his tapas, and make him marry Parvati. Then only that son can kill Tarakasura and his brothers. So Kamadeva said, Kamadeva was so happy that he went, and then he said, okay, now he shot the arrow in Shiva's mind, and Shiva for a minute got distracted, and he opened his eyes, and then he realized that it was Kamadeva that has distracted his tapas. So he immediately got so angry and opened his third eye, and obviously Kamadeva got burned and he lost his body. That's where the name Ananga comes in. So he lost his body. Kamadeva now has no body. And now think about Kamadeva cannot create passion in everybody. So there is this big imbalance, right? So later in the story, Shiva got married with Parvati, so that goes on one side, and then Rati Devi was so sad, husband is gone, right? So Rati Devi now goes to Devi Parvati and says that, see, look at my situation, like you got married and then I don't even have my husband, and the only reason that Kamadeva shot his arrow was only to you to get married, but he got burned. So please have mercy on him, and can you resurrect him? Devi, as so much with Karuna, right? Of course, she is the Karunyavati. She brings him back. She didn't give him a body, but brought him back. But that body now only Rati can see. So that's why Rati Nayana Lehyena Vapusa. So the body can be adored by only Rati Devi. Rati Devi itself is a beautiful one. So she's adoring the beauty of Kamadeva, who is Ananga. So now Rati Devi can get her husband back. So that is the story. And now using that power back, Kamadeva started creating passion in people, and that is the second verse is saying that he even have the power to create that passion in the mind of these the Mahadam Munina, great sages, also can be distracted by this Shakti from Kamadeva. So the story from a very higher level, it's said, okay, this is talking about power of attraction. So is it at the very lower level? The deeper meaning goes like, there is a grand cosmic design. Like we talked about, there are planets, there are all these, the whole Milky Way, the whole universe, right? You can just imagine, like we are standing on this earth. We feel that this is a very strong ground for us, but the earth itself is standing in the space. So think of that huge earth standing in the space. There is no and rotating around sun and in its own axis. And there is no scientist going there, hey, Earth, you rotate at this angle, at this speed, for this amount of time. Nobody is saying that. It's happening. And it is so much of those forces are happening at the same time. So there is this grand cosmic design that is flowing through using an intelligent order, right? So there is a model. So now that model, it's an Rajesh always says this is an agile model in the sense that if there is something happen to it, it's flexible, and in software engineering we use this term for flexible and iterative approach. If there is something happening, so it is flexible enough to kind of bring back to the change. So what it is saying is that if there is a change in something which is causing a havoc, Shakti will act on it and then bring that cosmic balance back. So we talked about the attraction and repulsion. So it is not that once it is set and then it runs on its own, but there will be always that power imbalance. So that checks and balance are done by using that Shakti. So there is a Shakti that is balancing these different power. So in the story, Kamadeva, so if there is nobody, the Kamadeva is not there, meaning if there is no Shakti, that is the power of attraction is not there, then there is no reproduction happening. It will be standstill. There is no earth. So if Kamadeva is not there, there is no earth. There is no the plants, the animals, the human being, nobody is there, because everything is reproduced because of that Shakti, the power of attraction between the animals, between the human beings. So that power of attraction is the basis of reproduction and the whole sustenance of the world. So when that power is, there is a change in that power, the Shakti acts like an agile power and then brings that back. So that's kind of the essence that we need to take for, so what is good for Loka Kalyanam, she does that. So there is a rhythm to it. We talked about that cosmic dance, and Shakti is giving that power to Viṣṇu to maintain that cosmic dance. So that is kind of the deeper meaning to it. Always we have to take that essence of the story to kind of know it. Of course, this also says that that power, the guna, is received by doing the sadhana to the Devi, right? So in real sense, these power are inherent within us. So the thing is that by doing this sadhana, by doing this rupa dhyanam, by the mantra dhyanam, what we are doing is that we are actually cleaning up our vasanas and manifesting that power within us. So that's exactly what's happening. So this Samohana Shakti, this is one example that is shown in this verse. So there are so many of these gunas, so many of these Shaktis that we need to receive, that we can receive by doing the sadhana to Devi. So the power to enforce that different attraction, repulsion, and all that power that we are talking, that Shakti has that power to kind of bring the order. And we also talked about Devatas, right? So Shakti is doing that from a higher level, and she's using the different functional departments. So that is where this Srishti Sthiti Samharam. And not only that, like we just came up the Kāmadeva's Shakti, right? There are much more that is coming up in later verses. So here, the first 41 verses are talking about Swabhavam of Devi, not the Swarupam, Swabhavam of Devi. They are the essence of what is this Shakti doing, right? So we of course, for the prayer, we want a rupam. We are looking into Tripura Sundari's rupam and doing the prayer. But ultimately, this is that Shakti that is everywhere. That power that is everywhere. Even to blink the eye, I need that Shakti. My heart is beating because of that Shakti. The food is getting digested in me. That is because of that Shakti. I'm moving the hands. Everything is that Shakti. Right? So what we want is that use that power in a most yogaha karmasu kaushalam, in a most effective way, right? Using dharma, and it's completely okay to gather the bhoga, gather all this material thing, completely okay, as long as it is in the dharmic way, because otherwise some of you are learning that karma theory. If it is not dharmic way, it will come back and bite. It will come back, and that come back as a prarabdha karma for us, that we have to, those situations that will be coming in front of us will be the effect of, it's a cause and effect. So the reason why we are doing the sadhana is to, we cannot remove the prarabdha karma, but we are doing the sadhana to remove the the vasana, the seed inside us, the chitta shuddhi. So the removing the vasana is, or changing the vasana, because that is the seed for us to do all the karmas. So that is where that Shakti, we are manifesting, we are trying, using the sadhana, we are manifesting that Shakti in us, which can clean up the vasanas, which can alter the vasanas, right? So that is what we are doing by the sadhana. So this verse is saying that we have to continue to do the sadhana of the Devi, but the whole the concept is that Devi, somehow, whenever there is a imbalance in the universe, she always comes and adjusts that. So that Shakti always comes that adjusted. That's where the deeper meaning. And the Amritam for Asura it's actually dangerous, right? So that is where the Asura, there are the Asuras from a gross level, it is a set of people who has bad habits. The immortality, or when this good power is in the hands of the wrong people, it becomes very dangerous. So that is what it's mentioned as the Asura, and they don't want to get the Amritam, right? So those are the kind of the deeper meaning that we can get it from this. We can now go to sadhana and then open up for questions. Let's sit tall. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshal Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vakratundha Mahakaya, Suryakoti Samaprabha, Nirvikhnam Kurume Deva, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. One more time, Rupa Dhyana. Sindhuraruna Vikraham Trinayanam Manikya Taranayaka Shekharam Smitamukhim Apinavakshoroham Panipyam Alipurna Ratnashashakam Rektolpalam Vipratim Saumyam Ratnakhadastha Raktacharanam Dhyayet Param Ambikam. Verse 1. Shivashaktya yukto yadi bhavati shakta prabhavitum na chedevam devo na khalu kushalaspantitumaphi adastvamadhyam harihara virinjadipirapi pranamtum totum va kathamakrita punya prabhavati. Chant with me. Taniyam sampamsum tava charana pankeruha bhavam virinchis sanchinvan virajayati lokana vikalam vahatyenam shauri kadhamapi sahasrena shirasam harasam chutyainam bhajati basitodholana vidhyam avidyanamanda तिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्य तपकमकरन्तस्रुतिझरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणि गुणनिका जन्मजलधौ निमग्नानां दंष्ट्रा मुररिपुवराहस्य भवति त्वदन्यपाणिभ्याम् अभयवरदो देवतगणा त्वमेका नैवासि प्रकटितवराभीत्यभिनया भयात्रातुं धातुं फलमपि च वाञ्छासमधिकं शरण्ये लोकानां तव हि चरणावेव निपुणौ हरिस्त्वामाराध्य प्रणतजनसौभाग्यजननीं पुरानारी भूत्वा पुररिपुमभिक्षोभमनयत् स्मरोऽपि त्वां नत्वा हृदिनयनलेह्येन वपुषा मुनीनामप्यन्त प्रपवति हि मोहाय महताम्. Chanting Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.